Hey, how about it, race fans? Richard Allen of motorsportsreport.net, and I'm coming at you with one of my infrequent Rich's ramblings. I know I always say that I'm going to try to do more and then wind up never doing more because a bunch of stuff always seems to come up. But today I had a little free time, so I thought I'd throw one of these out here and throw out some of my opinions, whether they're wanted or not. And they're probably not, but still, nonetheless, it's something for us to talk about. But a couple of things I was going to talk about. One of them is I've never understood this about racing fans, and it doesn't matter which form of racing the fan claims to be a fan of. For some reason, it seems like whenever you're a fan of one type of racing, you're supposed to dislike all the others. And I've never really gotten that. I don't understand why you would deprive yourself of something that could be enjoyable just because it's not the one that you want to watch. To me, it's equivalent of a college football fan just refusing to watch the NFL, despite the fact that they're both football and they both could be enjoyable. So I don't really get that. But if you look back over the past week that we had, I'm doing this on Tuesday afternoon. Last Wednesday, the World of Outlaws raced at Jacksonville Speedway in Illinois. That is one of the best, most entertaining races I've ever seen in my life. That came down with those guys just swapping the lead, going back and forth all the time. If you haven't seen it, it's out there on Dirt Vision. You can watch the replay. I don't see how they determined what the highlights would be of that race. It was, I think, a 30-lap race, if I'm not mistaken, and it was just one moment after another, there was something going on. There were no highlights. The entire race was highlights. But for some reason, if you're a late model fan, you're not supposed to like that. So, or if you're a NASCAR fan, you're not supposed to like anything on dirt. So, I don't get it. But there was great racing all this past weekend. World of Outlaw sprint cars were at Eldora. The high limit racing series was in Kansas, and they put on some great shows. Unfortunately, Lucas Oil Late Models, they were supposed to be in Kentucky this past weekend, which I was supposed to go to that, and it wound up not working out because the weather didn't want to agree with that. So that was too bad. But World of Outlaws Late Model Series was up in Wisconsin. They put on some great racing up there too. And then this past Sunday, of course, we had to fight through a rain delay. But the NASCAR race in Kansas, that was just an outstanding race. The whole race was good. And then, of course, right at the finish, it was just amazing. It was just how close they were. But again, if you want to deprive yourself of that, then go ahead. That's your call. But I don't really understand it. I enjoyed all of it. Heck, for that matter, I watched the Formula One race and enjoyed that. That was a fun show to watch too. So, Formula One's kind of hard to follow if you're here in the United States because some of those races are like at 2 in the morning or at 8 in the morning, and sometimes they're not. So, of course, they were in the United States in Miami this past weekend. So I enjoyed that. I don't just discount them for that matter. Watch the Rich Vogel Classic, which was on the paved track at Winchester. With the sprint car, with the non-wing sprint cars. I don't really like that. That was a fun show to watch too. But, some people just, that's not their thing. They're going to hone in on one, whether that be NASCAR or one form of dirt over another or whatever. And then everything else is just, mine's better and yours isn't worth watching. Well, I didn't find any race this past few days that hasn't been worth watching. But, like I said, that's your call. And then getting back to another thing that I've come to notice that it's all over our society. It's not just in racing, but there doesn't have to be a conspiracy about everything. Sometimes races get called off for rain because guess what? It rained. There's no conspiracy. There's nobody trying to pull one over on you or anything like that. The track couldn't get the track in shape to race because it rained, or whatever. Some driver changes rides or whatever. There's not always a grand conspiracy. Sometimes it just happens. The the NASCAR race with that close finish. Everybody's throwing out all these possible conspiracies. Oh, they ruled in favor of Hendrick for this reason or another. They ruled in favor of Hendrick because if you look at the picture, Kyle Larson's ahead at the finish line. That's why he won the race. There is no conspiracy afoot or anything. Just because your favorite politicians act that way doesn't mean the whole rest of the world does. So I think. There's a lot of stuff. I'm not going to go into it. You're not in my government class or psychology class, so you don't care what my thoughts are. But still, nonetheless, like I said, I just don't get why everybody has to pick one favorite, and that's the only thing they're allowed to watch, and it's the only one they're going to pay attention to. They're not going to get any enjoyment out of anything else. Or whenever some decision's made, what's the conspiracy behind it? Well, sometimes there's no conspiracy. Sometimes it's just like it's explained. But who knows? That's enough. I'm going to get off my pedestal now. So anyway, kind of in that sort of a mood today. But anyway, thanks for taking the time to listen. This is Richard Allen from motorsportsreport.net, and my sons and I certainly appreciate you taking the time to look at our stuff. We can tell by the hit counts that you are paying attention, so we certainly appreciate that, and appreciate that you hopefully will continue doing that. And I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me ramble. But until later, I guess I will see you at the track.